With a camera like this, there is only one point of focus, that is the focus distance. Anything in front of or behind that point of focus is actually out of focus. However, because the human eye is unable to resolve detail beyond a certain point, there is an area in front of and behind the point of focus that appears to be sharp. And this is what we're referring to when we use the term depth of field. Now, depth of field is influenced by two things. It's influenced by camera to subject distance, and it's also influenced by the focal length of the lens that I'm using. However, it is controlled by lens aperture. A small aperture will give you a large depth of field, large f number, large depth of field. A wide aperture will give you a small depth of field, small f number, small depth of field. And I'm going to demonstrate that now using this row of standing stones. So I have the camera set up with the focus point on the first stone in the row, and for the purpose of this demonstration I've got f2.8 set for lens aperture, a small f number which is going to give me a small amount of depth of field. If I take that picture, now if we look at that photograph, you'll see that the first stone is sharp. The second stone is sharp enough that you can see some detail, but it's starting to drop off even at this point. And then the third, fourth and the fifth stones are all out of focus. So I have a very narrow depth of field, which is giving me sharpness really only from the first stone up towards the second stone. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep the focus point on the first stone. But I'm going to set a lens aperture of f22. So this is a very narrow aperture, a large f number, and this is going to give me a large amount of depth of field. And if I take this picture, what we see here is that if you look closely at the stones, not only is the first and the second stone sharp, but also the third, going towards the fourth stone in the picture, also have gained sharpness. So I've increased depth of field, I've increased visible sharpness from the first stone to somewhere between the third and fourth stones. So with your narrowest aperture, that's your largest f number, you'll get the largest amount of depth of field. And with your widest aperture, that's the smallest f number, you'll get the smallest amount of depth of field. And of course, you can change exactly how much sharpness you get in a picture from foreground to background simply by changing the f numbers. A medium f number will give you a medium amount of depth of field.